Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mr. Spicy and today we will continue our Halo retrospective series by discussing arguably one of, if not the best levels in the entire Halo series. This level is the Covenant from Halo 3. If you have not seen any of my Halo retrospectives, I recommend you go check them out. Also, if you do happen to enjoy this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and even share as it helps get the video out there. With all that out of the way, let's get right into it. During the level of the Covenant, you play as the Master Chief, whose main mission is to stop the Prophet of Truth from activating the Halo array. However, the Prophet of Truth has sealed himself inside the main citadel through a massive shield barrier powered by 3 towers. The level starts with UNSC and Sangheili forces storming the beaches of the 3 towers powering the defensive barrier protecting the Prophet's citadel. However, anti-air is a little heavy and Chief's team is forced to land to take out the anti-air Wraith. Eventually, the Master Chief and the Arbiter's teams take down their respective towers, but the initial assault on the 3rd tower fails, resulting in Sergeant Johnson's capture. Subsequently, the Master Chief is forced to synchronize up with the Arbiter's forces as they launch a joint assault on the 3rd tower. The Chief completes Johnson's task and deactivates the final tower, lowering the barrier and allowing for the Shadow of Intent's bombardment of the main citadel. Before the Shadow of Intent can begin its strike, the flood-infested High Charity emerges from slipspace and crashes into the Ark, damaging the Shadow of Intent in the process.
High Charity. By the gods, brace for impact!
The UNSC and Sangheili forces make one final assault on the Citadel to kill the Prophet before the flood complicates things even further. After defeating the Covenant forces outside, the Master Chief and the Arbiter enter the Citadel only to discover that Truth is moments away from using Sergeant Johnson to activate the Halo array, and they will not make it in time. In a desperate last effort to stop Truth, Miranda Keyes crash lands her Pelican into the Citadel's control room and attempts to rescue Johnson. Realizing that she could not make her way out of the Citadel alive anyways, she planned to kill Johnson and then herself, depriving the Prophet of any means of activating the Ark. However, she is then killed by Truth, who then forces Johnson to activate the Ark anyways. United with the common purpose of stopping the rings, the Gravemind offers an alliance with the Chief and Arbiter.
Do not shoot, but listen. Let me lead you safely to our foe. Only you can halt what he has set in motion.
With the Flood's help, they defeat Truth's remaining forces and shut down the firing sequence of the Halos.
So, you must be silenced.
However, this victory is cut short as the Gravemind no longer had a reason to keep the Master Chief and the Arbiter alive. The mission ends with the Master Chief and the Arbiter fighting their way through the flood while Sergeant Johnson manages to get out of the Citadel in Miranda's crashed Pelican. The Gravemind also needed to remind us that he was immensely proud of his poem writing.
Now the gate has been unlatched, headstones pushed aside, corpses shift and offer room. A fate you must abide. Betrayed one villain for another.
Followed by the revelation that the Ark was constructing a new Halo ring. This is also my favorite cutscene in any video game. Now that we all know what happened during this mission, we can now talk about more of the intricate details on how the Covenant is a masterclass in level design and storytelling. Throughout the level of the Covenant, you have the chance to explore many different environments, Anything from jungles to ancient structures, there is no shortage of settings for the many unique encounters you face. Not to mention the many vehicles you get to pilot in the mission, such as the Warthog, Mongoose, Scorpion Tank, and many Ghosts and Wraiths that can also be hijacked and taken control of. Not to mention the first and only time in the entire series of campaigns where you get to fly the AV-14 Hornet. Not only is the Hornet one of my favorite vehicles, but it also appears in one of my favorite vehicle sections due to how well the combat and scale the Hornets help give the surrounding environments despite the level's linearity. It is shocking how Bungie was able to portray such a sense of scale while funneling the players down a linear path without making the player feel forced and always felt natural. Not to mention the wide variety of enemies faced in the Covenant. Enemies such as grunts, jackals, brutes, drones, hunters, and the Flood. That's also if you don't include scarabs. Speaking of which, it is one of the most memorable moments in the campaign, as this is the first and only time you can take on 2 scarabs at once. This alone adds so much replayability as there are multiple ways you can go about this fight. Most people tend to drop themselves off at each scarab, run to the core and destroy it while hightailing their way back to their Hornets. Others keep a tank, or grab a Warthog that is still patrolling on the ground. I personally stay in the Hornet, as you are still able to destroy the core as the rear of the scarab can be destroyed, which I do not often see people do. Also, one of my favorite Easter eggs can be found during or right after the scarab fight if you scale the Citadel walls. The music and sound design in this level, in fact the entire game, are just outstanding performances by Marty O'Donnell and Michael Salvatori, who arguably created some of the best video game soundtracks of all time. The Covenant marks a pivotal moment in the trilogy's overarching narrative. One of the strengths of the Covenant is its epic scope. As I've already stated, the level design is expansive, featuring vast landscapes, intricate structures, and a variety of enemy encounters. This diversity in both environments and gameplay elements keeps players engaged and invested in the unfolding narrative events. The mission's climax, where players confront the Prophet of Truth and the Flood, is particularly memorable, offering a satisfying payoff to the build-up throughout the trilogy. Additionally, the level benefits from the emotional resonance built over the course of the 3 games. Players have invested significant time and effort in the characters and overarching plot, making the stakes feel higher and the narrative more impactful. However, when comparing it to Halo 2's overall story, some would argue that the latter had a stronger overall narrative in certain aspects. Halo 2 originally was criticized for its dual protagonist approach, following both the Master Chief and the Arbiter. Regardless, this helped provide a broader perspective on the conflict between humanity and the Covenant. Now it is looked back on with much earned praise. The events of Halo 3's campaign were satisfying, but yet more simple in design. Not to mention how the Prophet's character was changed from a cunning backstabber to a egotistical zealot, which also left much to be desired. Ultimately, the appreciation for each game's story is of course subjective, and the level The Covenant contributes significantly to the rich lore and legacy of the Halo franchise. Now, for a game that came out in late 2007 alongside some great hits like BioShock, Crysis, Portal, and Mass Effect, that last one I haven't yet played, Halo 3 still manages to look good even for today's standards, thanks to the insane lighting engine Bungie used. Halo 3 was ahead of its time, proving that video games could stand their own ground between movies and music as a lasting form of entertainment, and not just as a fad. Just in the first 12 days of its release, it sold over 3.3 million units and earned $300 million in its first week, breaking all records at the time. In fact, from the time of release in September 25, 2007 to January 1, 2008, players had already played Halo 3 more than 4 billion hours. And that was just in 98 days. It is without a doubt that The Covenant has left an undeniable mark on the Halo franchise. It's a level that's often cited when discussing the series' most memorable missions. The combination of storytelling, gameplay, and atmosphere makes it a standout experience in the Halo 3 campaign. Thanks for joining us on this retrospective journey through the level The Covenant in Halo 3. Did you agree with most of my statements, or do you have a different take on this level? Let me know down in the comments below, as I love seeing your guys' discussions. Anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content here on the channel. Until next time, finish the fight, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.